as we approach the current time frame of 1997, I don't remember.
From ClarkQuits.com. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 80. I'm Chris.
And I am Steve.
Yeah, and you were tripping balls there for a second. No, that's not a good thing to say.
I'm not taking LSD or mushrooms.
No.
Just let's make that clear.
Yes.
But I am drinking a beer.
Should we start over?
No.
You are drinking a beer.
Because it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday, but you were back in 1997 for a minute.
Shit,
there.
how are we going to do my amazing prediction this year?
I don't know. It would be rather, it would be straining credulity to believe that you could predict the Super Bowl outcome twice in a row.
Yeah, that would be impossible. So I'm not even going to bother trying.
Not even going to try. Why were you back in 1997? That's what I want to know.
I was doing the beginning of the When Disaster Strikes album from Busta Rhymes.
Yes, you...
But if I had had the thing in front of me, maybe like the words in front of me, I might have been able to do it better.
I don't know if we have fully explored your love of Busta Rhymes.
I don't know why. Like, I'm not super big into hip hop. There's like occasional artists that I'll pick up an album, not like multiple albums.
Right.
But I don't know, Busta Rhymes.
Rhymes. I mean, for those of you just joining us at episode 80 who haven't heard, Steve's first email address was at bustamail.com.
Yes. No, it was actually, I think, S. Woodbury at Busta Rhymes.
Oh,
Busta-rhymes.com, I think.
Busta-rhymes.
Which is probably why I never got any email that wasn't pornography.
Okay.
This was back in the 90s, though.
Was it 1997 that you got the email?
It might have been
address?
98, 97, 98.
That's why you were back there. You were back in the Busta Rhymes frame of mind.
But I didn't even have my own computer back then.
Busta. Busta was in Garden State, wasn't he?
What?
Is he in Garden State?
I don't think so.
Was it ODB?
He was an actor for a while. He was in one of the fucking Halloween movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Halloween. Speaking
and
of
he
Halloween,
was in Shaft, the Sam Jackson one.
He was in the Sam Jackson Shaft. He wasn't
sitting
on
Shaft there. Yeah. That's what you wanted to say.
No, like Busta. There's a scene in Garden State where they go into what looks like I don't know if it's a porno theater or something, and there is a black man that they exchange information or drugs or something with, and I'm gonna feel really embarrassed if it turns out to not be Busta Rhymes. But I'm gonna figure it out because I've got the internet. But you mentioned Halloween. I discovered the other day on Netflix that they have Scream 2. They don't have Scream 1 or Scream 3 or Scream 4. They have Scream 2, and I started watching it last night.
Which one was that?
Method Man. It was not Busta Rhymes. It was Method Man.
You are terrible. Method Man doesn't look anything like Busta Rhymes. Well, we've learned today that Chris is officially a racist.
We just learned that today?
Yes. Well, we might have learned it a while ago, but it is official. Mark it on your calendars.
I am not a racist. I mistook Busta Rhymes for Method Man. I'm sorry.
You should apologize on Twitter to them.
Particular day, in that particular movie, Method Man gave off more of a presence, more of a Busta Rhymes level presence than just being Method Man.
What about Red Man?
Red Man. I don't know. What about Superman?
What?
I don't know.
So yeah,
Shaq was Superman, right? Shaq wanted to be Superman.
No, Shaq.
Was Shaquille O'Neal.
No, wait. I remember buying this for your brother one year for Christmas. I think I bought Kazam on VHS. This was well past VHS's life cycle.
Yeah.
I had a burp yesterday that was amazing. Can you attest, please? Yes, we got a head shake in the affirmative.
From the live studio audience.
Yes.
Of one
studio audience, yes.
It's still live. It's still the studio.
Yes.
Still an audience.
Yes. But what the hell was I saying?
Kazam.
I bought your brother that for Christmas a number of years ago, and I don't know if he still has it or it might be in his closet.
He did a lot of cleaning out last time he was home.
Bedroom. which is where we record sometimes when we record at your place.
Right. Yes.
I'm thinking eventually it'll be like a sort of reverse of you and John when you were kids. That Kaylee will be like, I want Uncle John's room to be my room, and I'll live downstairs with Grammy and Grampy.
It could be. I mean, it will all depend on how long we are there.
Okay.
But some debt is being paid, so maybe eventually we will move on to our own place. But the kids have already moved once. I don't want them to have to get used to yet another new school at some point. So maybe
so moved
eventually.
to Chelmsford.
Right. Well, like we could afford anything in Chelmsford.
Actually, it's like as far as towns in the area, it's the nicest. It's the most reasonably priced nice town.
Right. Most reasonably priced doesn't mean that it is actually reasonably
all right
for an adjunct professor and a child care provider.
All right.
Two occupations not necessarily valued in any sort of monetary fashion.
So I was like around that time back in
97,
98,
Busta
something like
Rhymes
that.
time.
I was going to school at Middlesex Community College, getting local for you.
Yeah.
In Bedford, Massachusetts. And I wasn't very. Your brother was also attending, but he was better at it than I was. I sucked.
He was better at showing up.
Yeah, he was better at showing up than I was. And so I managed to accumulate 15 credits over 4 semesters.
Okay.
Pretty good, huh?
That is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, and I actually failed one of the classes because I didn't drop it in time.
That's my favorite thing to do. No, it's not.
Fail students for not dropping the class?
When somebody doesn't drop it in time and my hands end up being tied by some administrivia. There is technically, at the university that I work at, there is a grade code AW for I don't know if it's administrative withdrawal or academic withdrawal, but you're supposed to be allowed to use that to take, like, if somebody stops showing up altogether. But I get the sense that rules have changed and you're not supposed to deploy the AW as liberally as maybe I have in the past. Because I don't think if you stop showing up, you shouldn't fail. You should just be. I mean, it depends on like at what point in the semester you stop showing up.
Usually it was very early on.
Very early on.
I'd be like, I don't want to come to this night class one night a week. Fuck this.
I had to tell people the other day in my Friday afternoon class, I had to remind them that day was add drop day. I was like, listen, and there were a couple people who were like, I don't know if I can make it through this. I'm like, today's the day, like add drop now or you're in trouble. And I've been telling them that for 2 weeks since we started. I was like, come on. If you can't handle it, it's an advanced class.
You can't handle the kitchen, then get out of the heat kitchen. Isn't that how it goes?
Yes,
I haven't even had a whole beer yet.
That's exactly how it goes.
If you can't handle the heat, get out of the.
No, if you can't handle the kitchen,
get out of the desert.
That's what Shaq did to bring it back.
What?
Wait, was it?
What were you saying?
Was he on the Heat? I think he might.
He was on the Miami Heat for a little bit,
for like a tiny bit,
and then he went to the Lakers.
Well, he was. No, you're getting your Florida teams mixed up here, Steve. He was on the Orlando Magic.
Oh,
back in the day, that's where he got drafted, was the Orlando Magic, and that's where he was. And I was actually an Orlando Magic fan at that time because the Celtics stunk.
I never would imagine that you were a hoop guy.
I was a hoops guy.
All right. Well,
I wish that I would take the time to watch it now. And apparently, there's a couple of good teams out there. Not the Celtics necessarily, but some.
But yeah, this one class, like I was just like I was too late, and I tried to because even if you are too late to drop it, like from the administrative side, you can still get the professor's permission to be dropped out of the class without having a failing grade. And I went to her, and she was just like, "Nope." I'm like, "Really? You can't just sign this paper?" I can write something for you, and then all you have to do is just put your signature on it.
Yeah.
I'll obviously read it first, so I didn't say anything crazy. But all you have to do is just sign this, and I will hand it to them, and it'll be fine. Nope.
I'm trying
F for you.
I'm trying to imagine the crazy thing that you might have written.
I don't know. I doubt it still exists.
Right.
I'm like,
no, but like if it was something crazy and the teacher just signed off on it, you kind of like
where are your car keys?
where are your car keys?
Because I would have written like, I'll give you my car and I'll also let you drop the class or something.
Got it. I'm a little slow today.
Yeah.
I'm a little slow.
Stop looking at your fucking phone.
Method Man. No, I'm looking at my phone just to get through my list of things to talk about today.
No, but I'm still not done with Middlesex Community College.
About 1997.
98.
98.
98. Like, I was 97, I was still at CHS.
When you started this show, we were in 1997. So you've made it to 1998. There is some progress.
Yes. We're in 1998 now.
We're in 1998.
We're going to travel through my life.
I don't know how many years
One
to go.
excruciating minute at a time.
Okay.
We're going to do like a real time, like, telling of my life.
Real-time telling
from 1998.
From 1998. We're skipping the first 19 years.
Yeah, because that's just nonsense.
Yeah, okay.
Although we have talked about that nonsense before.
We have talked about that nonsense.
So yeah, she wouldn't let me out of this stupid class, and so I got an F, and so that brought my like GPA down to like a C, because I was doing well in the classes that I stayed in because I liked them or like felt like showing up to them. And there'd be times where I would go down there, and there was this kid Nate. I remember his last name, but I'll just keep it at just Nate.
Very good.
There was this kid Nate that your brother and I were friends with. That like we would show up, and then like we'd be in the cafeteria at the college, and we'd be like, "Do you want to go to class today?" We'd be like, "No," and we'd be like, "Okay." So we just blow off class and just not do anything.
Were you aware that you were spending money to go to these classes? That's something I always wonder as a teacher of underclassmen, is like when certain of them stop showing up, I wonder if they realize how much money they are losing.
I was aware, and I also got my money back for the classes that I dropped.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that is sometimes the I honestly think.
So yeah, don't think for a second that I didn't like say, hey, I'm not gonna.
Right. Get it. I think that's why they've cracked down on like the administered withdrawals and the withdrawals and the whatever, is that from the financial side, like they don't want to be dishing out.
They want
money.
people to pay for the classes that they took and didn't go to.
Right.
But I was smart and got my money.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, give me my money, bitch.
All right.
And then they did begrudgingly because I was using profanities.
Yeah. What about 1999?
Oh, we're not to 99 yet. Hold your fucking horses.
Hold my horses.
I took this class that was Japanese class, and there was like literally 3 of us that took it, and it was on a video system, and they. Like the professor was at Bunker Hill Community College.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Now,
those of you who aren't from the area, Bunker Hill Community College is the one that Robin Williams teaches at in Good Will Hunting.
Yes, It is. Yes, indeedy.
And so, yeah, if you want a point of reference or some aerial shots, watch Good Will Hunting, and you'll be
Except the bridge, it had a very distinctive look back then, and that look is not there. There was like a bridge or like a...
Yeah, because they changed the bridge over by the garden.
Yeah. Well, not even that. No. But like coming off of the front of Bunker Hill, if you go back and you watch that movie, there was... I don't know if it was like... bridge is probably even the wrong word, but there was this sort of structure off the front of it that's now gone. And it looks very different than it did back in the day.
Oh, well. It still looks pretty damn similar, I'd say. To what it looked like back then. And so she was on like the TV, and she was like teaching us Japanese, and then
was she turning you Japanese like the Vapors?
No, isn't that like a euphemism for like masturbating? Because you get. Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to be racist. I'm going to leave that to you.
I am not racist.
Okay. Just scream
Method Man.
Scream that in my apartment.
Method Man might look a little bit like Busta Rhymes.
It doesn't really look like Busta Rhymes at all, no.
No?
I'm sorry. You're wrong and racist.
If I mistook a one white dude for another white dude, would I be racist?
I'm just appalled, and I think you should be kicked off social media and be fired from your job because you said that one thing.
Because I said that one thing?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Holy shit.
Put that in my.
But the rest of the world, take note that was a joke.
A joke.
And stop fucking doing that to people.
So you were turning Japanese? No, you were.
I was just learning. I was
you were
learning Japanese.
I think I'm learning.
I
Japanese.
really think so.
I'm learning Japanese. I really think so.
No. So like my professor liked the way I spoke Japanese. I think that's why she passed me, because I didn't do any work.
Yeah.
But I did show up. I think that's usually half the battle for a college course. Showing up and like your face being there and saying something every once in a while, which is
That sounds about right.
yeah. I mean, from the other side, I imagine that's accurate.
Well, showing up and contributing every once in a while will take you a long way.
I mean, not doing any work kind of like puts
that will bring you back
damper
a
on
bit.
it.
Yeah, but
But I remember I had a pager back then.
Were you a drug dealer?
No,
You know that joke?
and apparently
You get
I'm
that
a
reference?
dentist.
Oh, or a dentist.
I got another email today about like expanding my dental practice.
The drug dealer joke is from the first season of The Real World, where Julie, the girl from the South, hears one of, I don't know if it's the black woman who's on the show or the black man who's on the show.
Racist.
And they have a beeper, and the beeper goes off, and she says, "Why do you have a beeper? Are you a drug dealer?"
Racist.
Racist. Yeah.
See, that was back when you could have people that were racist on television.
Well,
besides Donald Trump.
She was a very, very nice young woman. And I think part of what the deal was about that show was to show her becoming less racist, to show her world kind of expanding.
I never watched The Real World.
I watched the first
I remember the
seasons.
Saturday Night Live that I really liked was Bob Dole in The Real World. And he was playing the Puck character, basically.
Yes. I think I remember that. I think we may have linked to that before.
And then Norm Macdonald was Bob Dole. And he's
Dole.
also currently Colonel Sanders. But I hear they're going to be changing it again. Because they had Daryl Hammond, and then people didn't like that. And now they have Norm Macdonald, and apparently people don't like that. So maybe they're going to go for another SNL alum. Until they get it right, apparently. I like Norm Macdonald. Hey, I'm Norm Macdonald. I mean, Colonel Sanders, and this is my $5 fill-up meal, and I'm just a regular college student. We're sponsored this week by KFC. And I'm Norm Macdonald.
Speaking of Colonel Sanders, I saw a tweet today, maybe it wasn't a tweet, I don't know. I'm being non-committal, so I don't have to find it for the show notes. And it was of the Democratic debate, except that over Bernie Sanders, they had superimposed Colonel Sanders, and over Hillary Clinton, they had superimposed George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic.
I'm familiar. I've seen them on stage.
Well, I'm just saying there might be somebody out there who's an idiot and doesn't know.
Okay, idiots. Chris thinks you're all idiots. What do you think of that?
And I think it said something like, but I like both.
Like how I called them idiots, and then Chris said, Chris thinks you're idiots.
Well, I did intimate that by saying idiots.
I know, but I like directly, like there wasn't any.
This is one of those weeks where you're just like you're just drilling into me. Yeah. You're just like,
That's what happens when you keep on touching your phone, trying to go to a list that we don't necessarily need to go to yet.
No, I'm just fiddling with my phone nervously.
Do you want me to fiddle with mine too?
Is that a euphemism?
No.
Oh, you mean your phone? Your phone.
Not my penis.
Not your penis.
We do have a live audience, but
I would rather you not fiddle with your penis while you're drilling into me. No.
So yeah, I was in this Japanese class, and I remember one time my pager went off. Remember how I brought that up?
What?
My pager went off. Are you okay? You gonna be all right?
I just have had a shitty weekend. I needed a good laugh. Go ahead.
So yes, my
off.
pager went off, and there was these metal like parts of the desks, and so it surprised me at it on the vibrate mode. Or as Alana, I used to work for with doing the stand-up, she used to say on pleasure mode. Because not only did she do stand-up, but she sold dildos and such. So yeah.
Did you ever ask her if she tried using a pager in that capacity?
No.
No? Okay.
She had She had dildos. Why would she
had
get
all
paid?
the dildos, right? Did she try all the product?
I don't know if she can legally do that before selling it.
Well, that's not what I meant. I meant like had she tested all of the products to see whether or not they were something that she would recommend.
Well, the thing is,
I don't know why I'm asking you this.
I don't like.
Weirder
this
and
is a
weirder.
question for her and not for me.
Yeah,
but I'd imagine that she would be foolhardy to waste that amount of merchandise when she could be selling it.
Right.
I mean, like she could say, "I got this." She, like, look at like the description and get one that she really likes,
right?
And like kind of promote that a little bit more, maybe a more expensive item.
Well, I'm just saying,
and say that this is something I'm using on my vagina, and this is something I enjoy.
Yes, my vagina approves.
In that like very like not sexy way. I'm sure that'll get people to buy dildos.
Right. Well, I just say, like, there's two schools of thought when it comes to sponsorships or what you're selling or whatever. Either you like only sell, you only promote the things that you yourself have personally tried in the way that Kevin Smith didn't promote I guess he had tried the Fleshlight many times, many times before he started promoting it on his show. And it was only after he had tried it a bunch and kind of given them a bunch of free promotion that they said, well, he knows and loves that.
I didn't even rush that time. I just left you hanging.
You didn't, thanks. I was like trying to draw that shit out.
You see how slow I was walking?
No, I didn't. I was focused on the microphone and on the task at hand.
Which is talking until I
can get another beer.
It's Super Bowl Sunday. Eat shit. Wearing your Patriots shirt.
I am wearing my Patriots shirt because speaking of horses, you said hold my horses. Speaking of horses, can I?
Oh God, what?
No. I was trying to come up with a joke about strangling Broncos, but it wasn't.
It wouldn't be. You couldn't even get your hands around their necks.
No. But I could get my hand around Peyton Manning's neck.
I don't know. He's got a big, thick neck.
Big, thick neck and a big fucking fat head.
From all the pizza Papa John's.
The only way I would watch this game right now at this point is if somebody guaranteed me.
Hey, I'm Colonel Sanders. You can put my hot, spicy chicken on your Papa John's pizza on the Super Bowl.
No, that would be... is it Pizza Hut? Yum Brands owns KFC and Taco Bell.
I think Yum Brands.
Is it Yum or just Yum? I might just be Yum.
Yum sounds like just
okay. So Yum Brands, I think, owns Taco Bell and I want to say it's Pizza Hut, but it's definitely Taco Bell and KFC.
It's Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and like.
So there ain't no KFC going on Papa John's pizza unless it's.
Well, I'm Colonel Sanders, and I put my fucking chicken wherever I want.
No, because you're secretly Peyton Manning. You can do whatever you want. The only way I would watch this game, is if somebody could guarantee to me right now that at halftime, a velociraptor would come onto the field and eviscerate Peyton Manning while he was going down on Roger Goodell. That's it.
Why would he be filleting the commissioner?
I mean, he does. I've got to imagine that's the sort of
performing fellatio. I want to get my grammar right.
I would imagine that's the sort of thing he's already been doing for quite a long time. Between filleting him and the various NFL broadcasters and everyone in the world who has heaped praise and anointed him the god of football, I'm sure there's been a lot.
How many Super Bowl rings does he have?
Not enough.
Yeah, not as many as
not as many as our quarterback, who gets a fucking controversy thrown at him every single time he gets anywhere close to the point where they'd have to acknowledge that he's a better quarterback. It's hard when you're on the top.
See, like, we don't know it in baseball because the New York Yankees have been kicking our asses since the turn of the last century. And that we only recently started occasionally beating them.
Occasionally.
But, the reason why? It's because they spend the most in baseball. We spend the second most. So it's not like we're the fucking, like, ragtag group of underdogs like the Kansas City Royals that were in it this past year.
Yeah.
But,
a velociraptor eviscerating him
like
while he's giving Goodell a blowjob. That would be satisfying on two levels because it would be killing Peyton Manning, and it would be ruining the pleasure of Roger Goodell, who has to be happier than a pig in shit.
Maybe he's sick of the blowjobs that Peyton Manning gives him, and then he would allegedly.
Allegedly.
So yeah,
allegedly.
I'm in my class.
You're in your class.
My pager goes off.
Back in the day when the Patriots and the Red Sox still sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the Patriots were about to not suck for 1 year around then.
No, they were in the Super Bowl.
Oh no, it was
the year prior.
2 years before that. All right, so they
the-
were back to sucking.
It was
They were back to sucking.
Green Bay, New England Super Bowl, which we
right.
lost.
We did. That Super Bowl was.
I talked about that Super Bowl on the show before. I think maybe last year when we talked about the Super Bowl.
I think I
when I was talking about
as well.
Bill and other Bill
and
yelling
other
about-
Bill.
No, my mom's boyfriend Bill.
Oh, Bill.
That
Yes,
was using lots of gay slurs at the TV.
as people named Bill are apt to do.
And then other Bill, who was gay. I mean, he wasn't like mad or anything, but he was like, "This is funny." And then when like my friend Bill went out to get sodas, I pulled
Your boyfriend.
my boyfriend.
Oh, my
shit.
goodness.
My mother's boyfriend.
Wait,
into
stop the presses. Has Steve just admitted something? No, just kidding.
No,
Your mother's boyfriend, Bill.
my
Sorry.
mother's boyfriend Bill. I pulled him into the other room and I said, "Yeah, you know that kid that just left, the tall one."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "He's gay." And then he was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I'm like,
Should I have to tell
I
you?
didn't know you were gonna start screaming "fag" at the television.
Oh God, that was in. I cannot remember the name of the movie, and this.
Or maybe I did know that, and maybe like it. Maybe I should have preempted that. It's my fault, not his. So I'm in the class,
Yes,
and I kick the metal part of the desk because my pager goes
because your
off.
pager went off. Yeah.
And this story is going to be one of those ones that are like,
I have no idea how to categorize. Like, I think when I'm doing the show notes in terms of like bullet points and an actual structure, like where does this story, like everything is going to be a
this story is going to be like
of,
the yeah right story as far as like the amount of buildup and the amount of like letdown. Because I've been telling it for how long now?
20 minutes. I don't know if you started right at the top or if it was a couple minutes in.
Yeah, I think we were a little bit in. So probably about 20 minutes.
20 minutes
I've been
or so.
trying to tell this story.
Trying to tell this story. But
Okay,
we've been
so-
getting horribly off.
Why do you have to sound like someone's
Oh,
grabbing?
that hurt.
Yeah, see, don't do that. Just say horribly off topic.
We got horribly off topic.
All right, so
So you kicked the desk.
I kicked the desk. I
Were
made
you
a
wearing
loud
shoes that would Were you wearing shoes
You can't see that I
would
just hung my head in shame.
Were you wearing shoes that would impact your ability like that? Did it hurt when you kicked
I was
the
wearing
desk?
open-toed shoes.
You were
and
wearing open-toed
I stubbed
sandals.
my toe, and I was like, "Ow, fuck!" No,
Okay.
I was just wearing sneakers.
And you
You
kicked
gonna let me?
no.
You gonna let me go?
Yes.
You gonna let me go?
Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was wearing these sneakers with my pager and my pants and whatnot, and I kicked the front of the back of the desk, or well,
the one in front of you?
I guess it was the back part of the desk, but it was in front of me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I kick that. It makes a loud noise, and I go "gomene," which is a sort of impolite way of saying I'm sorry. So it's sort of like like putting a little bit of a tone on when you're like, "Ow, I'm sorry," or something like that. So I basically did that, and like my professor was mad at me.
Now remind me from the beginning of the story.
That was like when you like when you're about to come and then you got to kind of get it stopped right there.
Yeah.
That was what that story was. It was
and
like
that's okay
it was like
if
a
you're
fake
doing that on
orgasm.
purpose. If you're doing that on purpose, it can be like an extension of the entire experience. But if that just
I
happens,
knew that was going to be happening, and it's good that we got it extended so long and did all those little horribly off-topic tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go to your list now.
So
I'm done now.
She was mad.
She wasn't that mad, but she was like, "That's not a nice way of saying that."
Was this a class? What I was going to ask you is I can't remember from the beginning of the story. Was this the class that you passed? Or the class that you didn't pass?
I did pass.
You did pass with flying colors, or was this like a? Like
I think
a
I got
C-minus
I think I
situation?
got a C somewhere, but I think I did well on the final.
You know what confuses the fuck out
I had
of
to
me?
I went to Bunker Hill to take the final.
Like, did you go to Robin Williams' office?
Yeah, I did. He was like,
Did you tell him,
dude,
don't fuck with me, Sean?
I fucking sucked a cock or something. That's what he said to me. I was like, whoa.
Did he talk to you about the series? About how he missed Pudge's home run?
Yes.
How many other random bits
for a
of
chick
that movie
or whatever?
I gone to see about a girl.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie enough. Even though I actually saw parts of it recently.
The C- is the thing. I got this confuses the fuck out of me because I have always thought as an instructor that the C- was the lowest grade that my students could get and still pass, right? And that make sense to you? C- is passing.
I thought a D was still passing.
In high school, a D is passing,
But not in college.
In college,
I never got D's aside from, like, once I started
Yeah.
like actually going to college and not being like a fuck off that
Yeah.
goes to community college and doesn't go to community college.
C- I've always thought was something that was a passing grade. Well, this past semester, I was looking at some not spreadsheet, but like some list of all of the grades, and it turns out that a C- at the place where I teach is passing for some students, depending on their program of study, and not passing for others. So there are people who I have probably was trying to do them a favor. I was trying to do them a favor by giving them a C- instead of a D. When in actuality, what I probably did to them was more like a slap in the face, where I gave them the C-, and that's like that close to passing, and they're probably sitting there in the room going, "What the fuck? If you had just given me the C, I would have passed." So now
They need to figure that shit out. That is not your issue. That is the issue of the administration.
Well, they do put it somewhere on some webpage that I eventually found this semester.
That you had to look to find.
7 years into teaching. Yes, so.
They never told you that.
Yeah. Well, and at any rate, they would probably say to me that I shouldn't be giving a C- to somebody who should be getting a D. But the fact of the matter is that mathematically you might be getting one thing, but if I'm
sometimes,
taking
like,
into circumstances, your life and what's been going on, sometimes I'm going to give you the C- because.
Well, yeah, I mean,
reasons.
like we were talking about earlier, like if there's a student that shows up and participates.
Yes.
And they're on the borderline of either getting a D or a C-.
Yeah.
If they show up and participate, you're more likely to give them a C- as
Exactly.
opposed to a D.
Absolutely. I don't want to fail anybody.
Yeah. So in like it was any sort of close call.
Right.
If it was like in between any sort of grade, if they were really great at all their assignments, but they never showed up,
Right.
would you probably give them a B as opposed to an A?
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever.
At any rate,
Fuckers.
I never learned Japanese.
I still don't. I know bits because I watch a lot of One Piece. Drink.
I was about to overshare. I have a bad feeling about Japanese now because of we have. I don't know if we've talked about this in the show. I certainly don't want to.
Japanese people too.
What's that? I don't hate Japanese people. No. No.
Because you had bad sushi one time. Jeez, Chris.
There's a a close, soon-to-be should be former. I think the legal part of it is former in-law of mine who got into trouble. And we've talked about this off the show. I don't want to get into the specifics of how he got into trouble. He did something heinous.
How do you become former in-law?
He was married to somebody that I am an in-law to.
So now they're no longer married?
They are in the process of no longer being married.
Okay, so then you will no longer have any connection to this person.
I will no longer have any connection to them.
All right,
And
so
this
that makes sense.
person-
It was a little bit confusing to
Yeah.
me, so I
Yeah. No, and so this person has done something heinous, and I don't want to talk about it, but because of that, he was somebody.
Did he confuse Method Man and Busta Rhymes? Bring it back.
You found me out. No, but he was somebody.
How
who
could you
would,
divorce yourself from your family?
He would count in Japanese. I would try to teach the various kids how to count in different languages as best I could, because it was counting games are something you do with kids. And I knew Spanish, and I knew enough French to get a little ways into counting up to 10. And he would then interject and try to help them count up in Japanese. And now for that one reason, because he was the one who
was he Japanese?
He was not Japanese.
But he just knew a little bit.
He knew a little bit. He was somebody who had studied some martial arts. He had kind of a
so he was like a kung fu master.
Maybe
karate, maybe.
It was one where there was lots of tumbling involved. I feel like
judo,
maybe aikido, judo.
Aikido, that seems something.
One of those Itos things.
Yeah, like that episode of The Walking Dead where that guy knew aikido and then he taught it to the other guy who knew aikido.
Should I watch The Walking Dead?
No, or at least not the new season. Fucking guy, he was just like, oh, I know there's aikido, and I just said it makes it so you don't have to kill people, and then like, I'm not gonna kill people, and it's like,
aren't they zombies?
No, but then these other people show up and they're fucking gonna try to kill them. It's like, I'm not gonna kill them, and then it's like, and now he didn't kill them, and it caused problems for everybody else.
It's like Lost, like now they're friends with the zombies trying to kill the other people.
They're not friends with the zombies or the others. But sorry, Aikido.
IKEA. He was the master of IKEA. That's
then he had a goat.
IKEA. He knew the.
He had a goat just like Sengoku did.
Yes. He was the master of the tantric art of IKEA.
Right.
Yes. Exactly.
So you hate Japanese people.
Yes.
Wow.
No. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
Yes.
You are going to watch.
Okay. Full disclosure, we have invited you to our home for a Super Bowl party, but you have declined.
Well,
and I understand your reasoning, but you know, just you know,
I have too much grading.
Just know that you're going to be extremely resented by me.
I know.
Every time we do the show from now on.
I know, and it means that you can't give a Super Bowl prediction, and we can't find out if you're right, like we did last year.
Like we did last year, because I won't be here to record the last little bit.
Do not break the fourth wall.
I do it constantly.
That was like the one. That was the one sort of. We had not spoken of that deceit on the show before.
Oh golly! You think everybody just like, wow, Steve, you did? Why didn't you put money on the game? We
lost all our credibility.
We never had any.
So you're gonna watch the Super Bowl? See,
yes.
The only reason I'm even mildly interested right now is because I heard a rumor that there's going to be a trailer, a new 1-minute commercial for Captain America: Civil War.
Oh, neat. That'll be.
But I know it'll be online tomorrow,
or probably now,
or within a little while after. But it's supposedly Coke is a Coke
like cocaine or the Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola has some sort of sponsorship relationship with Marvel on the movie, and they're the ones paying for the ad spot or something. So I don't know if it's going to be like a combination Coke and the Avengers ad, or if there's any new footage.
It's me, Captain America. When I'm fighting the evil minions of some sort of wacky dimension, I like to drink a cool, cold Coors Light. Oh wait, shit.
We've talked about him.
Chris Evans.
He's a good dude.
He's a local doobie too.
He's a local dude, and he's Captain America.
Yeah.
Last year there was a bet between Captain America and Star-Lord, because Chris Pratt he's from Seattle. Yeah. This year, nobody's betting anything.
Well, because everybody in Colorado is currently high, and everybody in Carolina is currently
low.
No.
So the Super Bowl is happening tonight, and my thought this morning when I was at the gym, and it was either on. I mean, I'm mostly focused on whatever I have on my iPad that is what I'm watching, but then I can't help but look up every once in a while to
see that Donald Trump said something outrageous in New Hampshire.
Yeah, so there's like lots of stuff about politics and whatever. And my thought this morning was, I can't wait. I wish the election was going to be over tonight in addition to the Super Bowl, because I'm sick of hearing about both of them.
Well, I mean, you're one of the out of the generation of now that like I haven't seen a terrible amount of political ads just because when I watch television, I'm watching it on Hulu.
Right.
I see a Dunkin' Donuts ad every fucking break for their caramel fuckiato, and I'm fucking sick of it. But it's better than seeing Donald Trump saying he's going to make fucking America great again. Because I'm not exactly sure when that was.
I don't know when that was either. I heard that the young voters, the young Republicans of New Hampshire, booed him at the 352nd debate last night. That's what I can't stand. So here's why I can't stand it. I'm a Twitter completionist. I follow, even though I'm followed by and how many of these are real people, I don't know. I'm followed by 1,000 or so people, but I only follow 400, 500. I don't know what I follow. And I make liberal use of the mute tag and the whatever, so that every morning I can get up and I can look at what I missed overnight. And usually that's no more than 200 tweets.
And since I created a new fake Twitter account for transponder snails, so I'm sorry if you but if you if you want to follow my discovery of transponder snails over the world of One Piece Treasure Cruise, it's OPTC spam 69 at OPTC spam 69.
I gotta add that back into my feed.
Yeah,
because maybe it would come.
There's a lot and I'm not even reluctant anymore. I'm like, this isn't going to anybody except for that one guy that followed me for some reason.
What I can't stand is so most mornings, if there hasn't been a debate or a football game the night before, it's 200 tweets, and I can scroll through them. I don't read all of them, but I can scroll through and make sure that I didn't miss anything. If there's a debate or a fucking football game, it's hundreds and hundreds of tweets to go through, and most of them are complete bull. People live tweeting these fucking debates. There have been 300 of them. I'm so sick of this shit.
I don't understand how anybody could watch more than one debate.
Apparently that is like football.
I mean, if you're a political junkie, yeah, I guess.
It's not just political. It seems like everybody that I fucking follow on these things, and it's both sides. So a lot of the people that I follow, definitely it skews liberal, but they hate watching the Republican debates just as much, and live tweeting everything and needing to comment on every damn and I don't want to see it, and none of them use hashtags. Or not enough of them use hashtags, so there's no way for me to mute the hashtag. Right now, Super Bowl muted for the next month. Hashtag SB50 or whatever it is, muted for the next month.
Come on, it's on CBS, the most hot network in the
most watched network in America.
Most watched network, because people love. I'm glad Becky's gone, because fucking Big Bang Theory is on that fucking network. Oh, people love that show.
They love the Big Bang.
I don't. It's just, it makes me upset. And we've had minor arguments about it.
Yeah.
Because she's she actually likes it. And I don't want to rip into it too much.
Right. My parents
as a result,
it on in reruns a lot. So I'll see it here and there, but.
And the problem that I had initially with it, I think it came out at around the same time as Community. Mm-hmm. And so Community was a ragtag group of nerdy folk.
Yeah.
That were aware of their
nerdiness, and it was probably
their
written
flaws
by nerdy people.
It was Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
So
is he nerdy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he does a podcast where he plays Dungeons and Dragons. Live on the show.
Whereas, like it or hate, The Big Bang Theory is what I think. People think geeks and nerds are like. Yes,
it's
because it's the people that love it in my family are all the people who are not at all geeks and nerds. They think why they kind of are, because
which surprises me, because I don't know. It's just. I run out of gas when I talk about Big Bang Theory.
I don't know. It's not that it's ever offended me. I haven't watched it.
I've never been offended by it, but I it's never. I'm not someone that gets offended.
Yeah.
And if someday that actually happens, I will tell everybody about it.
I look forward to that day when we find out what could possibly offend Steve.
It doesn't offend me. It just. Well, it does kind of offend me. It offends my sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems lazy to me, if nothing, like the show.
I mean, I can't deny that there's probably been funny times or funny things written or said on the show, but like one of the things that you can search for it on YouTube is Big Bang Theory without the laugh track.
Oh, okay.
Like it was the same before because like the folks that do this show also did 2.5 Men.
Okay. Yeah.
Tiger Blood AIDS guy.
Yes.
Did we talk about him having AIDS?
I don't remember.
I think he might just have HIV at the time, or now, or whatever.
Important distinction.
But yeah.
Yeah.
He has the virus that could eventually lead to AIDS.
Yeah.
I don't want to put anybody on the wrong track.
No.
To figure. So it was the same producers of that show that did Big Bang, and so like you could do the same with both of those shows. And be like,
I wonder if Big Bang is kind of this generation's Friends, and in the same way that like
it might be, and that's probably why a lot of people really like it because of that.
I mean, and so like and now from a historical context, being a little bit older, I can definitely see why people hated Friends. I loved Friends at the time.
Yeah, and I think it was on one of the stations that begins with a T,
TBS or TNT. Yeah,
it was like on. I was just watching an old episode of Friends, and I'm like, I wasn't into it back then, but I'm like, when things are sitcom-y, like I usually can't stand it.
Yeah. Well, but see, the Friends, if you look, especially the early parts of it, before it becomes sort of so steeped in its own mythology that it's just Friends, is definitely kind of trying to be a network TV sanitized version of what it was like to to live and be friends with people in the 90s, like for people a little bit older than we are. Like, so, but that wasn't at all what it was like to be a grunge person or to kind of be poor in New York or what. Like,
none of those people were poor.
No, not at all. Not poor, but like to be kind of single and on your own and like have friends as a family. That was a thing that was happening. For sure, that was the thing that was happening, is that there were people who had all moved to urban centers. They kind of maybe were estranged from their families for one reason or another. But that
they had their
Friends was kind of bland representation of that, right? And now we're kind of like we have this big geek culture, and my feeling, having watched only a little bit of it, is that what's it called? Big Bang Theory is kind of. Is kind of a bland representation of geek culture.
This is one of the times that I realized that I didn't like the show because like I was indifferent to it for a long time.
Yeah,
and I remember going with my buddy Dave to play Magic at the Sheridan in Nashua.
The one with a pirate ship.
There's a pirate ship there.
Is that the one? Is
it
off
like
exit 4? No, okay, no, different one.
It's a castle.
Like a couple exits up, there's a Sheridan or a Hilton or whatever.
Exit 1 in Nashua, New Hampshire. If you ever want to go, it's a nice hotel. You can play Magic cards in there apparently sometimes. And so I had lost. And so I had just finished doing something excessively nerdy.
Yes.
Playing magic cards.
Right.
Next to a floral expo.
That's what completes the story. I need you to come in and talk to my students because I wish they would write that shit into their story.
Because like I was thinking about like in between rounds sneaking into the expo and saying that I'm a florist.
That is exactly the kind of detail that makes a good story versus a bad story. Is that like you're next to a floral
it was like I was like
there's always something going on in the hotel, but you can't let your reader, your listener, whatever, just imagine what that. Give them something to work with. So Steve's coming out. He's just played Magic cards,
and I'm walking by like all these floral arrangements. They're beautiful. It's really nice. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go get a drink at the hotel bar because I've lost it playing Magic cards and I feel dejected.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the bar and they have Big Bang Theory on the television.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there.
Are there a bunch of people with really nice floral bouquets laughing hysterically?
No, there was nobody in the goddamn bar except for maybe me and maybe a couple other people that were actually having a conversation at a table. I was sitting at the bar itself.
Yeah.
And so it was like me occasionally talking to the bartender and watching this show. And I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like every piece of dialogue made me more angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it's for some people, but it's definitely not for me.
Right. I wonder whether my parents, my relations who watch it, feel like they are getting an insight into who I am as a geek by watching that show.
No,
I really do. I wonder if they're like, oh, now I understand Chris better because I watched The Big Bang Theory.
and I think the big thing that I had the issue with when it was like when it was the because it was Community and Big Bang at around the same time, and I think the Community did a good job of celebrating the nerdy things that people do.
Right, yeah.
And like The Big Bang Theory seemed more from the outside making fun of these nerdy people.
Yeah.
And just it was the laughing with as opposed to the laughing at.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest problem I had
Yeah.
with it.
I think that's a good point. We kind of skirted past like talking about Donald Trump and all of that stuff. I was really interested in your take on the fact that Trump lost the caucus.
Caucus. He lost his caucus.
And
Well, the thing is, like, Iowa
Bernie technically lost the.
he did, but the thing is, like, he was a long shot. Like what, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
No one thought he would be even close to
Right.
where Hillary's numbers are.
Yeah.
And now he was neck and neck with her. Like,
Yeah.
like a virtual, like less than 1%
I'm
percentage
with you.
point
Like,
off.
I saw that as the best possible outcome. Not for Bernie supporters, right? For Bernie supporters, the best possible outcome would have
Was
been
him winning.
Him winning. But for the party, for Democrats, for liberals, for just for the country, like that was the best possible outcome because it continues to make her have to take him seriously, and she doesn't completely fade into the background. And I feel like a close race there is just gonna make whatever candidate comes out of that party that much stronger.
We were talking about it last night a little bit, and like I am unabashedly.
You unabashedly feel.
I feel the burn. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Like I've read some articles about him and his record and whatnot, and since I've never had a fondness for Hillary, I mean I would vote for her in a general election if necessary, but. If there's another choice, I would rather, and that's
well, there will be another choice: Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio.
No, I'm talking about another choice before we get to that point.
Okay, yeah.
I would like, and it's not because she's a woman. Like if it was Elizabeth Warren, like from here in Massachusetts,
Yep.
I would vote for her in a second.
Oh my God, I dropped her name the other day in conversation with my father.
Oh
and
God,
you could
don't
see
even
the steam come out of his ears.
She's Native American. She put that on a thing, and blah blah blah, and people just flipping out
Yeah,
about.
wow. I could not. Part of it's that I've been in New Hampshire up until this past year, and not really had any understanding of exactly of Massachusetts politics, and so I did not know what I was getting into by mentioning Elizabeth Warren.
But I think
and I won't again.
But the thing is, like, we do need like a woman somewhere in there, and I think like if Bernie is smart, I think he will choose a woman as his running.
Do you
mate.
think now? Okay, so there's a whole bunch of things. We're really about 8 minutes left, which is why I wanted to bring this up because I thought there's lots of interesting stuff to talk about here. So like two questions that come out of it for me. One, how do you think Bernie's going to do in New Hampshire? Which I think
he's actually going to do really well.
Yeah.
Because the liberals that are in New Hampshire, I don't think are the kind of liberals that are just going to be like a toe the company line kind of people.
Young liberals are definitely like more
which is funny because he's the oldest candidate like ever, and like
but they
are more for like this old man.
But they're more for this old man and what he stands and the change that he represents.
Yes.
I mean,
they'd
be even more thrilled if he was a younger man. I think. Like who they didn't have to worry about maybe
that's why they need
dying
to
or
they need to
and,
find a great like I don't want to say super young but like a younger woman as a running mate so like she can take the torch if this guy croaks.
Now I think where I got most of my for one reason or another where I got most of my post caucus information
Post-cockle.
was my post-cockle information was title it was from broadcast news. So I don't know how much I trust this, but somebody that I heard was suggesting that if Bernie doesn't win New Hampshire, it only gets more difficult for him from there. So if he doesn't win, what do you think happens? You think he's done?
I think he could possibly win New Hampshire.
Okay.
I mean, I am no longer a resident there, so I can't vote there. But I think Massachusetts isn't far behind.
Right.
And I will vote in the primary
Yeah.
here.
Right. On Super Tuesday.
And do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we are part of Super Tuesday.
I think so. All right. So then the other question was, you mentioned female running mate, and I couldn't agree more. If he's the nominee, does he pick Hillary because because there's
I don't
so
think
much
that
division?
I don't think because.
I mean, she might not even want it.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if she would even want to be his running mate.
Right.
But I don't think they agree enough on where the country should go. Mm-hmm. But you said before the show, and it's a good point. The only thing the president really can do is to appoint Supreme Court justices, which would be important.
Right. Yeah. That was. I'll try to find that and put it in the show notes. I think it was Lincoln Michelle or Mitchell or however you pronounce his name who made the point. He said, "I don't know how,
war."
I don't know how you can be too passionate about either Hillary or Bernie, as all either can do is appoint good SCOTUS judges and not go to war, both of which are big, no doubt."
They're big, and they also can veto legislation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the SCOTUS.
But the problem we have right now is not that we have legislation that's getting to the president's desk.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible. It's we can't make laws anymore because there's too many people that hate each other and refuse to compromise on anything.
Yeah, and I don't see that changing.
And there's too much money in Washington, which is just getting poured into these people's pockets.
Yeah. There's no executive action that either of them. Well, Hillary wouldn't want to probably, but if Bernie was in there,
that would take away from her constituents.
Yeah, if Bernie was in there, is there any executive action that he could take to even mildly help the problem?
Well, I think he could make insane executive actions, which would force legislation to be made, to replace the things that he just did.
Yeah.
That would be okay, I'm going to say that everybody gets a pony. And they were like, we can't afford that many ponies. And so they were like, let's write up a piece of legislation that says no fucking ponies for anybody.
What I meant specifically was I don't know, is there any campaign finance
I think the show's name should be No Ponies for Anybody.
No ponies. That's a better one than post-cuckle. I will agree with you there. All right. Well, there's a bunch of other things that we have here on the list, but we
didn't get to it again
minutes.
Or whatever.
What's that?
How many minutes?
About 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Are you going to count it down the entire time?
Well, I have something for plugs, and then we talked about the Super Bowl. We talked about politics. The other 3 things that were on the list, I'll let you take your pick. Amy Schumer joke stealer, big X-Men arcade game, and actor who hung himself.
Okay, I don't know anything about the actor that hung himself. Yeah. The big X-Men thing. I mean,
it was just that somebody tweeted an image at me that was of the big six player or five?
Six player.
Like 6-player X-Men arcade cabinet, which
like
brought me back to 1997. Bringing it all the way back.
It started with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was 4-player, and then the Simpsons, which was 4-player.
Right.
And then they had the X-Men, which was 6-player.
Right.
They also had a 4-person cabinet of it.
Okay.
Which was like the Ninja Turtles. And
right. I think I played the 4-player one more often, but I did eventually play the 6-player.
But the 6-player one had 2 screens.
That's what. Yeah, I remember, and because I remember the one that I eventually played, one of the screens was far less bright than the other, and it was weird if you were kind of like looking over here at the left side, and
you're like playing at Joe's Playland at Salisbury Beach, might
have been, yeah. I don't know which one of those it was that me and a bunch of people, and I don't know if it was like younger people, so it was you guys, or if it was older people, like friends of mine, went to Canopy specifically to beat one of those. It was like on a summer afternoon, and we weren't going to ride any rides.
You spent like $20-something on a ticket to go to Canopy so you could play
something like
the X-Men arcade
it was
game.
Stupid. It was ridiculous. Like, and we sat in, because maybe it was the only place at the time that had, or it was the closest place at the time that had it. I don't know.
I almost beat the Dragon's Lair 2 game at Canopy Lake Park once.
Oh my goodness. Almost.
Like, I was in the last level, and like, all right, look online. Basically, Dragon's Lair was this arcade game where it was a Laserdisc game where you were it was like a cartoon that occasionally a light would flash or your sword would flash, and when the light would flash, you would have to go like move the controller in that direction, or if your sword would flash, you push the button to use your sword. So basically, you're playing a cartoon for like excessive amounts of time. So after level 5, I think it was, you couldn't continue anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I made it through level 1 to the 9th level without dying, and then I died 3 times in a row at the first 3 things in the 9th level because I had never made it there before, and I was just like, fuck. And I was so nervous, and there was actually people around watching because, like, I don't think anybody had ever seen anybody get that far in that game.
No.
And it was just like, I was like, fuck.
That sucks. I never got past, like, the first level of that game. All right. Well, probably not enough time to talk about Amy Schumer Joke Stealer.
We could make it a little bonus time.
I don't know much about it. I thought that this was something that happened a long time ago, and we did a search before the show because we've talked about Amy Schumer at least twice before.
Well, I'm a fan, and maybe that's why I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. And it has come out. The people that have accused her of joke stealing have sort of taken sorry. It's probably more parallel thinking, and that does exist. I mean,
sure.
There's been jokes that I think I've probably made over the years, either on the show or otherwise, that have been probably pretty similar to things that other people have said. Yeah. And I may have like heard something that somebody said and kind of regurgitated it out.
Right.
And I didn't intentionally do that. I didn't say, hey, let's say this funny thing and rip off whoever the fuck it was that was saying it. I mean, like I even have tried on many occasions. There's this character that Jim Norton does on the Opie and Jimmy show. He's Chip Chipperson, and occasionally I'll do it and I'll know that I'm doing it, and I'll stop myself and be like, I don't want to do Chip on the show because like I can do it in my home life or wherever else, at work or whatever, and make these weird, terrible jokes as this character, but I don't want to do it on this show because this is something that's broadcast to 10 or 15 people, and I don't want those people to think I'm ripping off Jim Norton.
Right.
And so, like, it's something that I'm like, I did that. And I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
But, there's probably things that she's heard before that, like, and there are jokes that people have made. I think that one of them was just one of those jokes that you've heard every comedian do.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you're like, oh, I stole this joke. And, like, there was comedians that did a joke that Steve Martin did almost word for word on Saturday Night Live, and nobody had an issue with it. And like the late great Robin Williams was accused many times for stealing jokes, because he worked so like fast. When he was on stage, like he would just be like, bup, 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 bup. And so he might have heard a joke that someone said before and kind of just was like, oh, that's something that is that something that I heard before, or is that something that I thought up as an original thought?
But the genius of Williams is that he doesn't stop. He just is that he goes forward and he does what he does.
So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, cut the shit. This is not Carlos Mencia. Like Carlos Mencia, like he was the one that everybody said stole.
Right.
And I really like. I'm dumbfounded because there was the whole Chappelle thing, and he had the show.
Yeah.
And he was doing great. He was basically on the top of the world, and I think Comedy Central was giving him like fuck tons of money.
Yeah, back when I was in grad school, I had friends of mine who just swore by Chappelle.
Yeah, it was a great show, and it was pretty damn funny. And my pal old Bill Burr was on there a couple of times, and he wrote for the show. And it was a great show. And then Chappelle had a little bit of a breakdown, and then moved to Africa, and then I think he's just getting back into doing stand-up now.
Yeah.
But what Comedy Central did as a result was give Carlos Mencia a show, because like they were like, oh, we need to fill this time, and for some other reason they had more than one season of Mind of Mencia.
Did they need an ethnic comic? Was that
I don't know if they needed an ethnic comic, but it was just
like a comic who is a person of color. Like so there's like
this is you being racist again.
What, saying person of color is like the preferred?
No, but you're just like, you should be like, well, they need some sort of person of color because a white person can't be in there.
Diversity is a great thing to shoot for, but when it's enforced diversity,
yes,
I think it can be bad. Like I have been at places where they wanted you to have a certain number of female written stories on the syllabus, a certain number of stories written by people of color, and like I feel like that is a general purpose, like really good goal to go for. But when it's like you must have 3 of this and 3 of that, like if it's at the expense of finding a really good story over here, I don't know that it's or a really good whatever, a really good comic instead of Carlos Mencia. Yeah. But so many interesting things off of that. And one of them is just the idea that there are only so many ideas in the world. There are only so many stories in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like everything that we've probably said in our lives has been said by someone else.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as an original idea anymore. Some that you can sort of mutate.
Right.
Things that have been done before. That's why it's like it's so shocking when you see a movie or film or anything on television that is drastically different than anything you've ever seen before. I mean, I like things like The Walking Dead, but it's like every other fucking zombie thing.
Yeah.
And people make stupid decisions and they die, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's just like the Night of the Living Dead, which was the granddaddy of all the zombie terror, blah, blah, blah.
What distinguishes the good stuff, you brought up Robin Williams, what distinguishes, like, is the voice. And so there's 2 things that I think of. The great panel that I re-listened to by Merlin Mann and John Gruber from South by Southwest a number of years ago, where they talk about voice as the number. People come for whatever content you like happens to catch their eye. Like we make a reference, they stay for voice. They stay for you and me. Neil Gaiman was the other one that I thought of, and just recently I listened to something of his that I really liked, and he makes the point that like you gotta write stories or tell jokes or whatever the way that only you can, and that's what makes the distinction is the voice of the person who's doing it. And when you maybe come across as derivative and kind of boring and bland, like
we
Carlos
are
Mencia,
often. Oh wait.
Then nobody has patience.
We call
for
them
it.
beaners.
But Amy Schumer, like even if she did accidentally borrow something, she's Amy Schumer, and she's incredibly original and just like, what the hell is going on? She's unlike anybody that I've ever seen, and so she can tell whatever jokes she wants as long as she tells it the way Amy Schumer would tell it, and I think it's going to be an original thing.
All right. Good. So. I'm glad that we got to that point where we're on the same page about Amy Schumer.
Same page.
Good.
All right. If you want to find the show notes for this episode, you can find them at clarkwoods.com/hot/80.
Wow.
And if you happen to be in Newmarket, New Hampshire, the day this comes out, on Monday...
Should have plugged this in the middle of the show.
I should have plugged in the middle of the show. But I'm going to do it now.
You guys went over an hour, and you expect me to listen to extra 15 minutes of Chris plugging his fucking thing?
No, all I'm going to say is a Stone Church in Newmarket, New Hampshire on Monday, the 8th of February at 7 p.m.
If there isn't another goddamn blizzard.
If there is another goddamn blizzard, I will be doing the 3-minute fiction slam, which does not mean I will be slamming anybody because it's fiction.
So it's fake.
It's fake. It's fake slam.
Oh,
it's fake slam. Maybe. I don't know. 3-minute fiction slam. I'm doing that, and I'll talk about it next week, assuming it doesn't get canceled by a blizzard. And if you want to tweet at me.
Twitter at you.
Twitter at me. If you want to Twitter pate me, no.
No, that's from Bambi.
Twitter pated at ECC 1977. I'm going to shut up now.
And I'm at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday, IS Loser, all one word. And I'm also OPTC Spam 69. Follow and see all my transponder snails and where I got them.
There you go.
So, do you have anything last minute? Do you want to predict something this time?
Do I want to predict something? I am.
Yeah, you could. You predict the Super Bowl this year.
I'm gonna. Okay. I'm gonna predict. Let's see, that the Carolina Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl on a last-second field goal, and they'll win by 3 points.
Yeah, that's usually how.
No, they'll win by 1 point. They'll win by 1 point.
Okay.
It'll be a 2 point. They'll be down by 2. They'll kick a field goal at the end. They'll win the game.
I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah.
I think it's going to.
I don't know anything about it.
The trick.
I stopped paying attention.
Here's the trick.
Moment I realized that paying attention meant that I was going to have to look at fucking Peyton Manning's face.
Here's the thing. Like the moment the Panthers lost their first game of the season, was when I stopped rooting for them to lose. Mm-hmm. So now that if they win the Super Bowl, they're not going to do something that we could not. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with them.
Right.
So I am going to root for them, and I think they are a better team.
Yeah. Well.
So now basically the question is, and I heard it on Sports Talk Radio this morning, is Peyton's garbage, but
thank you.
Thank
you for throwing me
the
that
defensive line of the Broncos is basically is the defensive line of the Broncos better, or was our offensive line garbage?
Our offensive line was garbage.
So we'll find that out in a couple of hours.
I will find it out.
Super Bowl 50.
I'll find it out tomorrow morning when I wake up and Actually, no, I've muted everything, like I said.
Yeah, you can just put on your headphones, noise canceling. You won't hear children or footballs.
Hopefully, I will wake up to a GIF of the Velociraptor eating Peyton Manning's entrails on a Papa John's pizza.